Welcome to Evoke Ag, where we connect the global agri-food tech community across the region and across the world. Today we're discussing the role of trade agencies in getting your agri-tech startup or scale-up onto the international stage. And my guests today are Tess Thomas and Ariana Suppel. Ariana, I might start with you. We've got this wave of hundreds of great homegrown startups around the country. And they get to that point where it's time to look at expanding into an international market. How do you choose which market?
There's so many markets out there, aren't there? And it's really about what's right for you and what's right for you at that point in time, which goes back to what's your business strategy? What are you trying to achieve? You know, where does export and that international growth fit in your story? And to help you do that, we've got some great resources on our website at austrade.gov.au, and we also have some great advisory service people to help you work through that. So whether you go and tap into some of those tools online that can help you find your market, help you think through what are the things you need to have in place to be able to go and jump into that. And that might be things like finding out about support for finance, support for giving you some money back on some of those expenses, particularly up front, or whether that's helping you, go down and track down, okay, this market's huge, this market's not so huge, but a bit easier to get into. Where am I going to cut my teeth? Where am I going to trial this? So I would absolutely get people to come and jump onto our website and reach out and connect.
What are some of the really popular markets for expansion out of Australia with agri-food tech?
So for agri-food tech, it really does relate to, what are the markets that someone is helping to solve a problem for? If it's for cattle and livestock, then the US, Brazil, Europe are all going to be, and probably Africa as well, are all going to be key markets for them. If someone's looking to solve solutions for the grain sector, then again, markets like, say, Canada and the US and Europe are also going to be really popular markets. We do find a lot of companies also looking to the UK, thinking of it as a great opportunity for counter-seasonal trials and to sort of have a footprint and start developing out that network. And certainly there's a lot of things that they can tap into to help them really progress their solutions along.
I mean, when you think about technology and innovation and VCs and expansion, there's a lot of buzz obviously around Silicon Valley, but I wonder, Tess, you work for the Department of International Trade, you're with a UK government organisation. What are the opportunities in the UK at the moment? What are the incentives to expand there?
Yeah, sure. So we're seeing a big trend in ag tech companies going to the UK. So AgriWeb is one of them from Sydney who has expanded, as well as Safe Ag Systems, so their safe management software that's going to the UK from Adelaide. So we're seeing some trends in urban farming, robotics, precision agriculture and medicine as well. So there are some really good incentives. So the UK's got a really progressive government, so there's some great tax incentives. The corporation tax is 19%. The R&D tax credits are really favourable, so you can actually get 130% deduction on your tax if you are an SME in the UK. So there's some really, really great incentives there. And as you mentioned before, so raising capital is really important. So the UK is a fantastic source of private capital. The Enterprise Investment Scheme really has incentivised that, so investors can get 30% back on their investment into a tech company in that same tax year. So that's really driven capital up to a really good amount. So last year, I think the UK topped anywhere in Europe for VC investment. So over £10 billion was invested in VC in the UK last year.
I imagine with COVID at the moment, it's really hard for Australian companies or any company to set up an office or a presence elsewhere in the world. How are you helping organisations do that at the moment? It must be quite challenging.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, as Ariana mentioned, there's a lot of homework you've got to do prior to actually setting up in the UK. So we can actually do a lot of market research. We have experts on the ground. So DIT, the Department for International Trade, has created an agri-tech organisation. So we've actually hired 5 specialists. So these are people from industry who work part-time for the UK government, and they can plug you into the right networks in both industry and government to help you grow. So it's understanding what is your competitor environment, who are your customers, where do you want to go in the UK, and then we help you map that out and do like a virtual program. So at the moment we're doing virtual visits, and they're working really well.
It's fascinating to see the opportunity that exists there in the UK that probably isn't spoken about all that much, and that there are resources here and overseas to sort of support that transition. I'm curious to kind of flip this conversation on its head. We're talking about outbound agri-food tech at the moment. What about inbound? Australian agriculture is known for sort of punching above its weight in terms of production, Ariana, but how are we perceived on the global stage in terms of our adoption around the innovation space?
Certainly. In terms of that inward flow, we're seeing a lot of interest still at the moment, and I think it is about that size. The Australian agricultural sector is so much bigger than people might think if they just think about Australia as a relatively small population, but we're a very innovative population, and we're really how do we solve for challenges we find, whether it's different geographies or climatic issues that are coming up. We have some of the oldest soils in the world over in WA, but those farmers are really productive and able to get great results out of those soils because they're turning to innovation. So we might not have the subsidies that other markets have, but certainly the ability to tap into those different agtech solutions to help them get great productivity and great results is really key. And we have a lot of great government support at both the federal and state government level, encouraging either investment into research and development through or in partnership with RDCs like, say, AgriFutures or the GRDC or Meat and Livestock Australia. And we also have state governments who are coming to the party and saying, how can we help different companies get their products out there and get them trialling and help that adoption question, help farmers to know what is going to be really useful for my product and my conditions. So those sorts of things are really overcoming that what might be perceived as a challenge otherwise, and that question around how do we get our resources out there and get our solutions out there is a question that is a bit of a perennial one. For companies wanting to or thinking about Australia, certainly globally we find that a lot of businesses really do find that producers in Australia are really willing to try out new solutions and really willing to trial those innovative solutions.
I wonder if it's fair to say that the impetus behind both of your agencies' focus in this space is a huge need globally for food production to become far more efficient. What's sort of the mandate behind the focus that both of your agencies have? I'll start with you, Tess.
Yeah, sure. So the UK government has a very clear strategy for agtech. So last year, the UK government, for example, invested over £400 million in research for agtech, and also we're investing £70 million in an agri-tech catalyst. So that's really to commercialise R&D and make all of this R&D practical into the marketplace. So there's a lot of emphasis on agri-tech and food security.
And likewise, in Australia, we really we see ag as such a huge opportunity, and we see agri-tech and food tech is also a really huge opportunity, and we're certainly getting behind and trying to help that sector grow and blossom, and really have Australia be a global connected hub for innovation in that space.
I'm going to put you both on the spot here and ask you for one or maximum two fantastic resources that not enough founders of startups know about in this space. Tess, where are you directing people?
Sure. Well, that would be to my 5 amazing colleagues based around Australia and New Zealand. So we've got offices in every major state across Australia. So I would say contact us, UK Department for International Trade, please, and we can provide free and confidential support to you if you're looking to expand to the UK.
Ariana?
I would likewise say, certainly I mentioned it before, but the advisory services, that ability to tap into, we have, to say 85 odd offices in 50 markets around the world. People might be working from home, but certainly gives you a bit of a sense of that spread of network. And there's so many markets out there that are really hungry for great solutions, and we can help you find the right market for you and connect into other services like DIT.
Well, Ariana, Tess, and wherever you are joining us from online, thank you for joining us. To listen to more great conversations, you can head to evokeag.com or follow us on your preferred social media channel. Well, we invite you to get involved in the conversation online and join the exciting space that is Australia's agri-food tech community. Till next time.